Well, guys, I'm going to go out on a limb here and try and say something here. I was told that due to everything with me not getting married anymore, which this security company that cyberbombed me and then said I had to pay them $500 something because they didn't get their bus bonuses, and has also worked for the police, is with UT. Technically here I have some of these. It's a conglomerate company from everything out there. These are some of the pictures for whatever it is they wanted me to have written down for them and everything else. I had to pay $500 to get my computer fixed and unlocked so I could get everything back. They have a fake accent name. An accent program makes them seem like they are from India. It's one of the local police agencies ran by Charlie Zellers, who his cousin we ended up firing from his undercover position. And then he came with 2 or 3 family members to try and shake down for checks. In my position, I'm not allowed to identify people except by rough general looks and basic overall physical description of do they have a stocky build, athletic, broad-shouldered, or things such as that. Now, with everything being said here, they instantly went on and said it has nothing to do with your race, with how they took my coworkers, 3 of my longest term friends, which they say can't be friends either, so I'm going to go with this, and froze their salaries, took their guns away from them, because it was cited that my race in the meetings with Patrick Clark, this is an unsuable situation out there. It is stuff that was actually said and was under law. The governor has no problem with me having a gun. The governor's wrong and is an elected position, so they do not have to listen to him, because they are a separate group of people underneath the principality of the Holy Roman Empire of the Flavian, Julian Claudian dynasty, not the Flavius dynasty. As everything is with them, and I know that's really complicated, same thing with the people there, that all wages would be frozen because you're not allowed to give cost of living wages to anyone who would be Native American or Jewish, since there is no discernible difference in Tennessee state law. This is something that I've sent many things in on, and they instantly came on when I told them about the cyber hacking and everything else, and where these 4 national people might be looking at me from, and I told them out there, and they cut me off before I could say it was tactical advantage. A bunch of people who pretend to be Apache, supposedly using something that they found in my old DNA. But once you go back so far, all the Native Americans are related, I understand. There's like 3 people, 5 people, whatever it is. I don't really care. This is an unsuitable situation on both sides. But the cyber harassment is completely unfounded with using private security to stalk someone in any form or fashion. Private security has to be labeled inside the area and cannot be undercover. They do have to be a deputized form of people underneath the state law. Now, there are special units that are considered at higher units from Oak Ridge that are from the national laboratories and are hired directly by the military. You cannot be unidentifiable without insignia or insignia and a badge in the state of Tennessee augmenting police operations. There can be undercover police around you that are there for it, but you have to be a full-time police officer, not even a part-time deputy. Even though they say this is legal in schools, which is not, which is one of the reasons why I say schools should be a safe place and not have any police officers in there unless they're labeled with a uniform and a gun and everything else. Now, they played the audio back to me. I have been in the conversations with them and just tried to ask. It's like they were playing some stuff back to me. I know cyber hackers, calling every bit of that was true. To the bosses and everything else, other than one who played it back to me and said, see what we can do to you. Moving along with this, they instantly came in on the hour and something phone call and said, so are you getting married anymore? No. Does anybody else use your computer beside your parents? So you live alone with your parents. So you're a loner. Yes, I'm a loner. I don't have any friends really, because the only way you have friends is someone who's not related to you, is not a coworker, is not married to you, and is not from a religious organization. Those don't count as friends. Neither do police officers or anybody undercover that's assigned to you in any way count as friends. That is the honest truth in this. So every single one of them that I know of that came on there, they're technically considered loners that have lied their way into getting a position with a gun. All the things that this cyber company has done that is from UT Knoxville, so they continually stalk me because they like being homosexual and think that I'm going to take them like an Englishman. Well, the majority of people's names in this country are English because you speak English. Even if you say Carlos, your name is still English because under legal documents, we speak English here. We just don't speak United Kingdom or British. Now, with everything, with this, I don't really understand how me lying about myself or anything. Oh wait, that's the police that came in there, like Charlie Zellers, Logan, probably Meg will be on there, and anybody else who's quit over at the job recently. And let's see here, Stephen Brooks. Can't remember what her name was. Everybody made fun of her and called her Matilda back in high school. You can say I had to do it because I told the clarinets to stop. And said, is her name really Matilda? You just called her that. So it's not. Don't call her that. I'm an upperclassman. I can tell you whatever to do. Now, this is absolutely ridiculous. They also sent on the Canes and some other ones out there with it for this. And everything does have to do with your race when it comes to all this cyber harassment and cyber everything out there. And your all's Christian faith of continual genocidation. And you can never be a Federalist because you don the mantle of the Pope when you removed him from the head of his cult. As Mussolini did with all of these people, who are all his family, who all have ties to basically Eastern Mussolini stuff, especially China. As out of their own mouths in front of me, and never shutting up about anything, in their own federal records and their federal testimony for their families. Now, there's a lot of crap that really needs to stop here, with them not being able to get bus bonus, the cyber harassment, the extortion, and other things like that. And, just because you have a conglomerate company paid in your own private salary and registered in different states because they'll pay for it for you, and run it through UT Knoxville because it can always be considered an experimental thing that the state taxpayers have to pay for. And in New Jersey, since you're an out-of-state area in what is considered Confederate territory, as New Jersey is because they don't have a Native American reservation, and then run things through a company in California that will pay all of your land expenses so long as you have something there. Just like all your rental property is paid for. Whenever you live in California. Because you're in hostile territory because it's outside of California. This is one of the things that California is going to need to stop. And I do not have to, except under military tribunal, reveal to you, as the law states, whatever my Native American heritage is, and you're supposed to provide it for me. And that means a full workup in the state of Tennessee, even to the ones that are considered extinct. From wherever they might have lived overseas or over in former colonies of the United States. Now, this is getting a little bit ridiculous with everything, because it's like, these are your buddies and stuff. Well, they don't count as buddies. It actually counts as the fact that it's purposeful, in a way, espionage warfare to make sure that I have no buddies or anything else. And if I have buddies, all that it is out there, because being a loner doesn't matter for anything. Technically, I can't be considered a loner because I have hobbies like hunting, fishing, that are done by yourself. Movie watching, working out at the gym, not socializing. Granted, I haven't been able to do that in about 3 years because of cyber harassment and weaponized mosquito warnings by these individuals and their bosses and the rest of their family over with the Larges and the Mussolinis, and their revenge things for coming to the job strapped with a gun on, saying that they believed their life was in danger. Cuckoo. You socializing with your kids, nephews, or anything else does not count as non-loner. You are bad people. I just tried to make us good with you, and it's like that thing you did back in middle school, or else wrestling, that was close enough to homosexuality, so you had the right to graduate school. Your Greek, Eastern politics, and religion that you belong to, which I go to Greek Fest and everything else, your Nazi, Roman, Mussolini version of what you think Greek Orthodoxy is, that you have a right to socialize, you have a right to force assembly, or anything else. You're a cop. You should have at least watched some Dragnet episodes. You are no different than that kid that whatever it is, Gannon and Joe Friday, and the old one. He had the grenade, and he's like, we're all going to have a good time, and I'm going to get to listen. That's you. You just said you made yourselves legal and are police officers to force socialization, and the only thing you do is you act exactly like every YouTube video person does when they talk about Chinese police following them around in plain clothes, and they get reported and sent to the police office because they wouldn't talk to buddy cop. You do not have the right to force an assembly with me. Fraternization in a fraternity, or else we're socializing. It's a family fraternization. Even a family church qualifies you as a loner because it's not a church with open enrollment. That's true. That is legal. Under all of your stuff that you've made, that you circled yourself around with in these psychological profiles. I do not have to be married to be not a danger. I do not have to be a white man to be de-dangered. I do not have to be put in over here, even though I do have family from Africa, but yet you threw those people out and said they were really, and they're very black people from Central Africa that you say are Native American now. You want to say everybody's sexist because they have to be able to be converted to Christianity and made to jump in an oven. So Latinos are sexist and racist. And you have your Latinx movement going on. And after we're done with the X, you men will be gone, and all your women will be ours. I mean, these are just things that are all labeled in there on every single thing out there for every single thing with me. I got about 37 of them. And it doubles over with Native American bullshit. Now, with everything with this, You need to stop trying to practice your religion and force it upon me. First Amendment rights do guarantee me freedom of your religion. Whether you beat me up in high school or any other time out there, you are not my family and you didn't take it as it. You didn't take my title or anything. And it's like, all Tennessee is one big Native American reservation. No, it's not. Your ISIS church that you have out there, where if someone's baptized in it and they force you in some way to get baptized, when most of you all are basically my in-law cousins, does not mean you're related to me, and I am not even associated or affiliated with you. I just run back into you, and one or two of you switch back and forth out with my cousin Kara. This is getting ridiculously old. This is the truth. There's still not one thing you can sue over with this. You need to quit stalking me and hiding behind your badge. I'm not going to rape Paris Hunter up his ass. I'm not going to rape Charlie. And I'm not going to spread a missionary for Logan. I'm not going to do any of those things. Now, shoo. You know, I can try and come to you because you're really the only people that I know as police, and because you're that bad at undercover. It's like Keith and the rest of them. You just need to learn to accept me. I like being on top. You know, to the Romanian who says, as AB positive blood, I have to be just like you. And I can take you anytime I want. Now, I'm getting a little fucking tired of this. You follow me around at every job that I have. I cannot work anywhere. Even most of the customers are just fake people. It's ridiculous. I mean, honestly, with your $500,000 a year salary to $300,000 a year salary, can you not just pay your own shit without having to get everything given to you because you go, we demand tribute in this place? Well, under the First Amendment, you can't have tribute because we have freedom of religion, and we do not have a king lordship principles or anything else, or anything down to the commonality Roman house person that gets free money from someone. There is not even really a requirement for you with what you do for your basic standard of living, with you being allowed public housing, which you say is another form of tribute, and food stamps, and free medical care with TennCare and stuff. You are a walking bunch, and you'll probably throw out a color here for anything, even though you're all multicolored, and some of you are so white, and it's like I stand next to you, it's like, I guess I got my black heritage back, or whatever it is. You can go scream and bitch about something else, but you know, if you all live in the same houses, like when you marched across all of Knoxville, killing people, and go, if I live in this house and we let you live, then that means we have to be family. I still don't understand what that means other than you are eating them. I mean, the smell of cooking burning flesh, so long as you have like shake and bake and a whole lot of other seasonings, I'll be honest, is the most disgusting smell on the face of the planet. But generally I only smell it after, you know, someone came around after a firehouse situation. With that, I'm going, God, that was a waste of spices and shake and bake. Now, if you could just fuck off. I guess California stopped paying anything to you because you don't have any money and one person moved out of one of your trailers that you pretty much have out there, and your legal lawsuit thing where you go, we can go here and one person's on this side and one person's on that side, and you basically kill off the people and let them buy whatever it is. And it's like they should have been buying stuff like platinum, palladium, gold, other things like that, stocks and bonds, just storing it under a mattress rather than throwing it away at one of your lawyer groups that can't file it in the right county, in the right city, in the right state, in the right area, and being like, I'm only licensed in this county, and it's a county on the other side of the line. Didn't you know that? It's your fault. And the guy has a bogus lawsuit saying that he wants to put this in, and he started pouring pads for whatever it is for campers. It's just your way of continued extortion, because you all should have lost your job and have been sued by your own department and got no bus bonuses, right down to the military. And going, I have to strip, and I'm like going, you buy 2 to 3 ounces of palladium every weekend with all the money that you make at the strip club. I purposely went down there. And then you also do your hunting ritual killings on, Hunter's Moon all the time. Going, we're taking away your crusaders, aren't we? And I'm going, if anybody's died and disappeared, it's really your all's people. Now, in that one, I didn't say any names to it because I know you don't go into the strip clubs, but you are attached to them. So I'm probably sure I'm going to be told in a couple of years that murders have been blamed on me or said something about that or anything else. And just because you're a partial owner in it and you never go there and just say it's an investment does not mean you are not solely responsible for each individual partner over any felony that can be charged as an equivalency in the military in the state of Tennessee. I mean, you keep yelling at me. I can make a military tribunal on any of you all because you have a Social Security card and a green card. In the state of Tennessee, under its military history and military laws for code of conduct, simply because if they arrest you, the only way they can arrest you and make something stick is because you're an espionage agent. So, everyone has to be treated equally because you're a member of the exiled Crusader Moroccan Church, and says that it means that you're really Cherokee, Catawba, Creek, Hiawassee, Apache, because they hate the USA, and you know that one guy who has the hate the USA lawsuit. All this other crap. And, they just need to back the car up over you because you all get the deer in the headlight looks too much. I mean, this is, you claiming that is fraud and defamation of the United States government and the military. Even if you want to say we went out there and we killed all of them, because they're labeled under First Peoples with the Holocaust and stuff. Their DNA can't be changed in any way, shape, or form, and doesn't change because of nuke bombs being dropped off. Even if you have people who've been there with nuclear radiation, their DNA is the same. They just might grow cancer. And you say the DNA in the cancer tumor has changed, so it's changed, and everything with ours has changed, and so is our fingerprints. And it's like, well, I'm fascist because it's fashionable, and just do for me. Get your little pipe and go and blow bubbles out of it. It's like, obviously he's crazy and has to go back in, and these are the pills that he wants to take over at the mental ward. None of this is suable. None of this is even criminal. You need to stop. Now, I've tried being nice, trying to keep up with everything and all of that. Anyway, I'm going to stop right here. I know I've supposedly dug myself into a hole, but the whole thing over a loner really does apply to you. You have no hobbies. The only hobby playing video games you have is so you can weaponize stuff through the satellite system. And it's like, you've gone on constantly with me, and I doubt Derek or Graham, if they were still alive, the good ones, would even know how to do that. And why don't you go on and say how, if I've ever been around anyone, since you all like being ass raped homosexually so much, And I've never done that, but you've so offered. And it's like, well, what do you do with flirting with this guy and everything else? I mean, why don't you just do it to, go over there and, like, be totally there for him. And it's like, go grab hold of one of the poles and just, why don't you take it from me and everything else over there in high school or something else. I mean, it's getting kind of ridiculous. And then if I won't have sex with you, you'll just say something like, you raped this girl. It's getting really ridiculously old with it in every way, shape, and form possible. Even with, Chris Sellers and them that's on the police force and deputized. Even with Daniel from Layaway, the big black-haired guy, and you go, oh, Daniel from Layaway, I saw a redheaded guy over there doing that. I mean, you purposely can't even put in the proper facts of what a guy said to you. He has on his name Daniel's son. Went to Pillissippi with him, and he was over at whatever it is. Even his family covering for Chris Sellers and stuff, and using the laser line sound. Doesn't matter what I say to you. It's like, yeah. I saw him. He has the keychain laser. Yeah, Travis Underwood. His real name must be Daniel's son. And I found out what's in your file books and everything else just because you can get like $50 to $60 more a month to a week for investigational stuff. I mean, you're bad cops. You always have been. And you purposely staged a fight in middle school so you could be back at my classroom level. Because Mormons were always able to get in more over anything with Galen Porter and everything else. And it's like, even you having a cop bar and bringing people in, like Galen Porter, you're all loners over at Mikko's. Even Family Gameland, where they don't let anybody that's the police families in there, is, it's a police family area. You're not allowed to go in there and talk to anybody. All the social areas have been bought up unless it's ran by a church. You're not good people. Now, I could almost instantly say the police aren't good people because you did kill off all the police in the Knoxville 1980s incident. And I don't know why that's illegal to talk about here. I mean, did you really pay Alec Baldwin off to, go and kill those two people? That's not suable. I mean, that should be a military trial out there with the way California has for instant confiscation and the way the CBI is set up. Now, this is ridiculous with it. And you just want to say about, well, we have the right to do anything we want to in order to secure Knoxville. That's why we get paid $163 starting out. We have more things than what New York has to listen to. No, it's just to keep you war criminals placated until they can get rid of you and your families underneath we'll just say, the removal of people from the French Louisiana Purchase. Okay, Confederates? You're not USA citizens just because you are. You just said that you took people and you pressed them into service. This is ridiculous. They should have Alec Baldwin under a military tribunal and make his former knowledgeable actions 100% open to the military tribunal and have him tried with his experience that he has from back before then. At his agency and everything else. Kind of like you all, which in the state of Tennessee, any evidence the military has, the public can have, unless it's under classified research. And basically you just go, we're going to march with pitchforks and shotguns and you're going to give us Apache helicopters and nuke bombs. Because that means that we have equivalency. It's like, no, even in a ticket trial, I can pull up, and the judge and everyone has to give that, or else tell us that it's classified, and then we can't go past there. And if you've mentioned it or anything else to us, it's declassified because we're for national status. You can go tell the guy that, puts the ashes up there, and then sometimes he puts the swastika on it and everything else, and all that, and says that he's the holy representative of Rome and everything else, and say about how he was borrowed here and everything else. Him doing that and everything else can qualify under freedom of religion, because that's why we have it. We're free from the English church and all of these other churches and everything else, and the Irish church and the Italian church and all of them, and can be counted as that which is an official of the church. So while Dolly Parton will step in here, she also needs to stop cyber harassing me with her lawsuit that she has with her brother, 66, over at the mine. And 46 right there, if you were able to hear that. You need to leave me alone. I'm not your fuck doll. Quit hitting me in the ass, all that other stuff. Go find some girl for whatever it is, because you've been chasing me since before elementary school. Go out there and go, boo, I scared you. No, I left for more money, as you all are worthless, and it's the only job I could get back then. And in the state of Tennessee, age discrimination starts at basically 28 to 29 years of age. So go away. Leave me alone. Malcolm's not started anything yet, Nancy. She just said something right then. Don't hit me in the base of my spine either anymore. Goes take the judge's little stupid daughter who runs all of Subway and everything else, and go be happy together. And screw off. Ms. Colin Dawson, do not stalk me, harass me, or anything else again. And yes, I did go to you, Charlie, as illegal as it is, to mention something about a criminal event, and you think that it's some way that's like, once you mention that to me, if it's in 6 months, the only way that I can do, because I need maximum investigation time, is it has to come back on you. Now, you predated almost everybody out there. You predated as a loner, as a group of loners, because you cannot count as a social entity over at Mikko's, where there is no thing where it says you have to have police officer ID to come in there or anything else, even though it's a public bar. Same with, you have to have a police officer's family ID to go in family game land and play any of those or play pool. Do not send someone over there again to try and act like some drunk ass son of a bitch and steal my money, because you all lost your jobs. There's not enough tax money going around, or you just haven't made your bus bonus. And now you have to be employed undercover at all time and be at least the number 3 to higher on undercover violent stuff. This is over with. Same with your military tribunal saying anything that I say is fiction when it's absolute fact. You cannot refute anything as an enemy of this country, which you still are and always will be. You held arms against it. You were in planning meetings against it. There is no excuse. You will just be milked for everything. And what you say is the truth, just like a German. There is no, you get to recant this or anything else. Go stand next to whoever it is of a different shade or whatever it is and weaponize racism. It's over with. Stop now.